and one of the lucky people who are going to be attending the game from an Irish point of view, and hopefully doing a whole lot more besides as well from an Irish perspective, is Dara O'Shea, who joins us on the line. And Dara is just 2 goals away from being the Championship's joint top scorer so far this season. Dara, you're very welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
This crack of being a goal-scoring centre-half, it is a nice new wrinkle, nice new addition you've had to your CV over the course of the last 4 games. It's a little bit unusual, I think, for yourself, given the goals ratio that you've had so far in your career, but I think you'll absolutely take it so far.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I'll take whatever I can get, and obviously adding goals to my game is something that I've needed to do, and I mean, 2 have come in a short space of time now, but I'm hungry to get more.
West Brom have started the season so far pretty well. Valerien Ismael has come in there, obviously from Barnsley, come in with his own ideas of how to run things. You seem to be somebody who benefits from working alongside a former centre-half as manager. It happened with Slaven Bilic, obviously, with your breakthrough there to the first team, and now under Valerien Ismael. Give us a sense of what Valerien is like as a manager, because I think people might be somewhat familiar with his career. Now, he had a brief spell at Crystal Palace, which people might remember, but beyond that, I think he really had an Indian summer at Lens and then at Bayern Munich. He's taken what he's learnt and put it into his coaching career, it seems.
Yeah, I mean, he's been a breath of fresh air since he's come in. He's a manager that we kind of needed after coming down from a tough season last. He's been great. He's been very intense. Brought a lot of fresh new ideas. It's front foot football that we're playing, and it's something that it's great for the fans to watch, but it's also great to play in too. And obviously, him being a former defender as well, it's excellent for me to have someone else who I can pick their brains.
Has he been that kind of manager, that kind of one-on-one, giving everybody their own time? Has he put special emphasis on the likes of yourselves in defence to kind of pick your brains or allow you to pick his brains as well as regards what way he wants to play football?
Yeah, of course. I mean, there was a bit of both. He come in and he kind of said the way he wants to play and listen to the way that the way that we wanted to play also. But he's very set in the way he wants to play, and I mean, it's really exciting for us. Like I said, front foot defending, and for me as a defender is music to my ears. I like playing on the front foot. I like being aggressive, and he's brought it in throughout the whole team, and it's been positive since he's come in, and hopefully long may it continue. Yeah,
that air of positivity, I'd imagine, was probably needed, because it seemed like a long L schlep last year throughout the Premier League. First obviously under Slaven, and then with Sam coming in terms of trying to pick up the morale of the squad, which hasn't changed much, I don't think, over the course of the summer, but in terms of trying to pick up the morale of those players that did go down, how has it been kind of getting to grips again with the Championship?
Yeah, look, obviously last season didn't go the way we wanted to go as a group of players, and I think this season again it's the same group, similar players there, and not much has changed. So I think we kind of had to take the positives from last season and kind of build on them. Look, we got promoted with a similar squad to the one we have now, season before last, and I think we've got to use that to our advantage. And look, we've got great players here, and we know what the league is about. It's a tough league. Lots of games they come thick and fast, and I think you can't really look too far ahead in this league. And we've been kind of just taking each game as it comes, and I think that's the best way to look at it.
You seem to have, I'm not going to say exactly mirror, but you have very strong similarities with a side like, say, Norwich, who went up playing decent football. Things didn't work out for them immediately, but they have maintained the nucleus of that squad, both the one that went up initially, the one that played in the Premier League then, and then the one that had to regain promotion from the Championship. You find yourselves in a similar boat. I mean, you mentioned there the squad hasn't changed much from the one that gained promotion to the from the Championship a couple of seasons ago. Having that experience ingrained in the squad has got to be absolutely massive.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Obviously, everyone's familiar with each other. There's no real big changes as such. The same characters are there. The changing room's still the same, so it kind of makes it that bit easier. Obviously, having worked with each other for the past few seasons as well, it just builds that unity that you need in the group. And obviously, with such a long season, it's vital that you have a good change room, you have good lads around you, and everyone's pulling in the same direction.
People mention that, like, the nature of the season, and you mentioned there the games coming thick and fast in the Championship. You got 46 to get through before you can, even countenance what's happening beyond that. Is it that much more noticeable, or especially, I guess you would have noticed it more so last year when you're, it's greatly reduced, you're playing every week, or you might be playing once every second week, but it is a case of you really don't have time to think in the Championship in terms of the next game coming down your way.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, last year is almost like a luxury, having one game a week sometimes. But the games come thick and fast in the Championship, and I think it's great as well because, I mean, if you win a game, you have to dust yourselves down. You can't get too high on that, and you've got another game coming in a couple of days' time. So it's tough. It's tough mentally. It's tough physically, but it's great, and that's really where the whole squad comes together. So you can't just have 11 players in the Championship. You need to have a full big squad, and everyone needs to play their part in it.
You kind of had a little bump in the road last night against Arsenal, but I realised it was a much changed side, and priorities are what they are, and the Carabao Cup might necessarily be on top of Valerian's hit list. But also the news, I guess, came last night that Callum Robinson, your teammate, had again tested positive for COVID-19. How's Callum? Do you know if he's like asymptomatic or symptomatic, or what his form is like? I'd imagine you two are pretty close, having gone away on Ireland duty together, coming over from West Bromwich.
Yeah. Obviously, we're very close, and he'd contracted it before as well. So I think he's okay at the moment. Obviously, it's early doors since he's got it, but he's obviously going to be a huge miss for us and at the Ireland setup, and for West Brom as well. He's a massive character to have around, and he's been in great form lately, scoring goals, and it's something that we will miss.
Yeah, absolutely. We heard Stephen talking about it earlier on, Stephen Kenny talking about the vaccination situation. Like, what's the talk like on the ground as regards squads? I'm not going to ask your own personal situation, that wouldn't be fair, but is there much talk among squads about vaccinations, the pluses, or people what they might perceive as minuses of them, or is it everybody kind of keeping their head down as an individual thing? Do you hear from club doctors, etc., about these things?
Obviously, it's up to the individual whether or not they want to go ahead with it. But the offer is put there by the club. Everyone has the choice to go and get it, and obviously there's pros there. The gaffer kind of has emphasis on it with us at West Brom about getting it and having that vaccination, because it could come to us in good stead later on in the season. But obviously, it's to the personal choice. Obviously, each individual is different. Some people want it, some people don't, and I think that's just the way of the world.
Yeah, but is there like talk, like we were talking about it earlier on, in terms of if people have doubts, you'd imagine there will be, you know, football clubs have the ability to bring in doctors and to bring in people who might, you know, allay any fears that people might have about these things. Was that the situation with West Brom, or was it just the case that the manager had a word with you all and said what he'd prefer?
No, we've had club doctors in speaking to us, giving us the pros and cons of it, and kind of putting people's questions at ease as such. I think a lot of people are quite unsure what's going on, and obviously to have the professionals come in and step in and kind of say their piece with it it's good for the players. Have
you gotten used to operating within that kind of COVID-19 situation? Because most of the last year and a half of your career has been lived, like almost your entire Premier League existence was done in this kind of COVID bubble. Have you gotten perversely used to the situation there? I know things in England are a little bit different, but have you gotten used to the care that you have to take in terms of being a footballer around these things?
Yeah, I suppose most of my career, really, my professional career at West Brom has been under COVID, and it's been tough. Like you said, I have got used to it. It's become the normal now. Can't really go about things as freely as maybe I would have done before COVID, with the risks there. Like I said, I have to look after myself if I want to keep playing, and I want to stay healthy and give myself the best chance. So I have to look after myself as best as possible. I have to weigh up the risks and make my choices from that.
Do you kind of have to really alter how you do things outside of football then, in terms of looking after yourself and being careful about where you go and how you spend your free time?
Yeah, definitely. I think you kind of just need to weigh up the risks with it. Obviously, there's negatives to stuff, and maybe I can't do some of the stuff that I'd like to do because the risks are there, and that's it. But I mean, I'm a professional footballer. I'm paid to play football, so I need to be at my best. I need to be fit, and kind of for myself as well, I want to be the best I could be. So missing time isn't really an option.
Yeah. Do you think that year last season in the Premier League has stood to you in terms of your own progress? I know things were not necessarily exactly how you'd want them to go, but having that experience in your back pocket now and in your locker, and knowing what top flight football is like, that's obviously got to be a massive boon to you going forward.
Yeah, I mean, that experience is going to be invaluable to me. Like, it's unbelievable the amount I learned from there. Obviously, it didn't go the way I would have liked it to go, or the way the team would have liked it to go. But as a young kid, you grow up wanting to play in the Premier League, and I had a taste for that now, and it's pushed me on even more and made me maybe even more determined to get myself back there and play at a high level. I mean, the players you're coming up against on a weekly basis is amazing, and I want to test myself against the best players. So it really just kind of whetted my appetite and showed me where I need to strive to get to and stay at.
Yeah, and you've been through a fair tranche of managers already, and I guess they're all different in their own individual way. I know Slaven had a really good relationship by all accounts of you when he was bringing you through to the first team, and he always spoke pretty highly of you.
Yeah, I mean, I owe a lot to Slaven. He gave me my debut. He kind of brought me into the first team step at West Brom and believed in me and had faith in me to play me. And I mean, since he put me in, things have gone on the up. And I mean, I've made my debut at Ireland. I've kicked on. I've done lots of things. So it was amazing for a manager to have trust in me at that age and belief in me and play me.
How did things differ under Sam Allardyce then?
Obviously the season was tough. The results weren't going our way, and I suppose he's a different manager of sorts. Still a really good manager. He came in to do a job. Unfortunately, the job didn't get done, but as well, I learned a lot off him too, him being an ex-defender as well, and sort of an old school manager as such. I learned different things. Two different managing styles is different. It's good for me to learn, and I think for me learning all this at a young age, it's gonna put me in good stead for the future.
Yeah. He can be kind of painted as an old school, kind of I guess an abrasive kind of figure. How was your personal relationship with Allardyce?
Yeah, I mean, I got on really well, to be honest. I think he liked me from the start as well, and I mean, I worked hard for him. I never really let him down either. Obviously, there was instances in the season where maybe I was taken off at early stages and stuff like that. But I mean, he spoke to me. He said there was nothing personal in them. It was more of a tactical change. So we had a good relationship.
Yeah, we've had a bunch of texts in. Obviously, when we mentioned that you were going to be on the show, a lot of people want to get in contact and get your different views on things. I guess chief amongst people's views and what they're looking forward to is next week. And a texter asking, is Dara looking forward to getting touch tight with Cristiano Ronaldo next week? He'll need to get working on his vertical jump. That's got to be a dream come true stuff to be marking, or possibly marking someone like Cristiano Ronaldo, but also have the reality of it being a job to do and a World Cup qualification campaign that the Republic of Ireland really need to start salvaging starting from next Wednesday.
Yeah, definitely. It's another opportunity to get points on the board and go out and play for your country. So it's massive. I think first and foremost, there is a job to be done, and that's Portugal there in our way. And I mean, you can look at their squad and you can name their players, and yeah, it probably will be a dream to play against some of them players or line out beside them. But I mean, that's what you want as a player. You want to test yourself against the best players. And I think as a nation, we want to play against these teams. We want to see where we are. We've got great quality. Maybe results haven't gone our way in previous games in the campaign, but I think it was a work in progress, kind of. There's players coming through. The gaffer was implementing his ideas, and the last camp in Spain really helped us out as a group, got us more together, more united, and I think everyone's really looking forward to it. Yeah, the
summer seemed to put a real, I guess, a kind of a more positive spin on things as regards the Andorra results, and then as the summer went on and as the Euros went on, that draw with Hungary looked better and better, and that kind of proved that the side can absolutely dig in when results are necessary, and that might necessarily be what you have to do next Wednesday. How has morale been? Because you'd probably be aware that there's been a bit of negativity around results, but how has the actual insular camp been like?
Yeah, inside the camp's amazing. I haven't really been involved with a team that's been as together as that, especially that camp in Spain. It was great to get all the lads together, kind of full of different age groups as well, and kind of people maybe becoming friends and getting closer to lads that they wouldn't have been in the past. And obviously it was great to have that time on the grass as well with the gaffer to kind of give us a bit of breathing space and actually focus on things that we want to, rather than preparing for the next game as such. But like I said, yeah, we're all just really looking forward to it. Obviously the Hungary game was nice. We thought we put in a good performance and played well against a good Hungary side that went on to do well in the Euros.
Yeah. As regards yourself, like we've seen kind of Stephen, vacillate between different systems. There's been back threes, there's been back fours. Which one do you kind of feel more comfortable in, or is it much of a muchness for yourself?
Yeah, I feel comfortable in whatever formation. I think at this stage I've played across all positions, to be honest, and whatever formation the gaffer plays, I'm happy to play that. I trust his judgment to pick the right formation and the right team. So I think, he's got a wealth of knowledge. The two formations have been good. He's implementing his ways. They may be different than would have played under previous managers as well. So it's been good.
Has Anthony Barry made much of a difference on how things are set up?
Yeah, Anthony's obviously come in. He's been great. Fresh as well, fresh ideas. Bringing little things in that maybe weren't there before. He's a great coach, obviously, and he's a good guy too. So it's nice having that energy around the camp.
Is there a kind of an overall aim for these next 3 matches? Is there, like you often hear people saying that they'd be delighted to get maybe 7 points out of 9 or whatever. What's the actual goal for this squad heading into those trio games next week?
I think the goal is to win every game. You'd be lying if you said you weren't going out to win a game. I think we have to look at it from a clean slate. Really, we have to look at each team differently. Obviously, the first game is the most important game because it's our next game, and that's where the emphasis will go into. See how we get on in there. We're going to put a good account for ourselves, and we're going to hopefully do the country proud and come out with a good performance and hopefully 3 points. And I think then we can look towards the next game and take it from there.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Dara, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it taking time out to speak to us this evening, and best of luck with the rest of the season with West Brom.
Cheers, thank you.
There you go, it's Dara O'Shea, the West Brom and Ireland defender. It is Shamrock Rovers 0, Flora Tallinn 1. 11 minutes to go in Tallaght Stadium. Rovers still needing 3 goals just to force extra time. Tom Kundert will be giving us a special view on Portugal up after the break. And don't forget, football and off the ball is with thanks to Paddy Power. For more information on responsible gambling, visit gamblingcare.ie.
Football on Off the Ball
with Paddy Power, brightening up your evenings like Jurgen Klopp's teeth. Gamble responsibly. Gamblingcare.ie.